I mean, I've had, as Holly was saying, you make it mandatory and they show up and then they won't pay attention, and it makes it's almost like a counter effect to it. But we tell them, repeatedly, think about what you want to do if you want internships, and obviously during the season, I mean, it's relatively possible.
The problem with I think football and basketball specifically is you spend that time in high school. At 13, 14, or whenever you start playing, you're going to be a D1 athlete. Like, you spend that time focusing on going to D1. Now you're in college, and everyone says, okay, in 4 years from now I'll be in the NBA, I'll be in the NFL. So, but if you at the very least start to facilitate some type of conversation, I'm sure you've got 2 or 3 guys on your team, 3.0 GPAs, they'll be fine. They probably don't, they may not be starters, but if you just start to facilitate that conversation, at least it just starts getting those logs in their mind, that fire flowing about, what they want to think about their life. And some people don't get it until, I think, Derwin Webb played here. I mean, he was a model athlete all the way through, went to law school afterwards, but some guys just don't get it. But at least at the end of the day, if that train doesn't crash their senior year, and when they're coming to Holly in their office, at least at that point, if you didn't even have that conversation as a freshman, sophomore, or junior, and look, if you're a senior and you're not a starter yet, and you're not, or if you are, you're getting minimal time, you're not going to get drafted. And some people, like you said, some kids still need to get babysat a little bit and say, hey, do this, but it's, you've done your job, and you can sleep well at night and look in the mirror if you've had this conversation and you've become that coach, like I said, that recruiter. Not just the coach who tells them, where to go and how to line up. At least you show that you care, you've done your job, and you just hope out of that 80% in the middle, at least if you get half of those, I mean, that'll just help the process improve.
But to that point, though, I mean, and I get what you're saying, because we live in that locker room all the time where
everybody thinks
if they're not going to be in the NBA, now it's, well, I won't make the NBA, but I can go to Europe.
Europe,
I for 35 years.
Sure. Right. I guess with my point, I wish I could hear from them is, hey, it's an option. Here's another option for you. If you got a guy who just shoots threes, work in the mid-range. Why would you not want to expand your options, be a better player? Make yourself more complete as a person. We're not saying spend 3 hours a day on this thing. Sign up. It doesn't take very long. Go through the process, and you know what? If you tear your ACL and God forbid something happens, you can't play ball anymore, what are you supposed to do? Why would you limit yourself? That's the one, I guess, key thing to put.